We recently looked at Rashad McCann's NBA career and tried to figure out how good or bad he really was when he was playing in the NBA. And if you watch Gil's Arena like I do from time to time, you know that Rashad is one of the loudest voices there. And recently, they were debating on who was the best baller out of all b-ball players on the show. I mean, I know the answer. It's Gilbert Arenas himself. I don't think it's even a debate. But regarding today's topic, there's one player who's also present on the show and has been a staple on the show for a good bit now, and it's Brandon Jennings. So when thinking of Brandon Jennings, I do remember his amazing game against the Warriors more than 14 years ago when he scored 55 points. He's also had a lot of other great games for Detroit and Milwaukee, but somehow, someway, he's just faded away slowly from the NBA spotlight. And since now we see him on a more prominent basis on Gil's Arena, I think it was a good time to look at how good Brandon Jennings really was and what actually happened to his career. So, Brandon Jennings, a 6'1" point guard out of Compton, California. His high school basketball career was pretty great. In his last high school year, he averaged more than 35 points per game. He earned multiple awards, was rated as the nation's #1 high school basketball prospect in 2008 by multiple networks. Now, he couldn't be drafted in 2008 because NBA requires players to be at least 19 years old and 1 year removed from high school. So most future NBA players go through at least 1 year of college and then enter the NBA draft, and while Jennings also had previously committed to USC and then to Arizona Wildcats, he ended up being the first American player in history to skip college and start professional career in Europe. He signed with l'Automatica Roma from the Italian Serie A, and the contract was pretty good for those times and for the player he was back then. It was $1.65 million, and on top of that, he got a $2 million contract from Under Armour to promote their product in Europe. His career in Europe, though, wasn't impressive. In 27 games, he averaged 5.5 points on bad shooting percentages. He was a bit better in EuroLeague, but not by much. Either way, his non-impressive Europe stint didn't hold him back from being drafted in 2009 as the 10th pick by the Milwaukee Bucks. His regular season debut right away showed how great he can be. In his first game, he recorded 17 points, 9 rebounds, and 9 assists. In just the 7th game, he scored those 55 points I mentioned in the beginning. Against the Warriors, he was amazing. And actually, his whole rookie year was very good. He ended up playing all 82 games, started all 82 games, and averaged 15.5 points, 5.7 assists, and shot more than 37% from the three, led Milwaukee to its first playoffs in 4 years, and finished 3rd in Rookie of the Year voting. His second season started very good as well. Unfortunately, early into the season, he broke his foot and ended up missing a good chunk of the season. Still though, he finished the second season with an improved average of 16.2 points per game. His 3rd year in Milwaukee was his best one yet, as he averaged 19.1 points per game. Unfortunately, it didn't seem that he's improving as rapidly as he should, so after just 1 more year in Milwaukee and a few appearances in playoffs, he was signed and traded to Detroit. His time in Detroit had some highs and lows. Jennings had multiple 30-plus point games. He became the first player since Steve Nash to record a 20-point, 20-assist game. On a different game, he tied an old Isaiah Thomas assist record with 16 assists in 1 half. On a sad note, he never made the playoffs with the Pistons, and here he suffered a career-altering injury which I think was the main reason his career went south so quickly. On January 25, 2015, Brandon Jennings was ruled out for the rest of the season after rupturing his Achilles tendon. He returned to NBA almost a year later, in the last days of December of 2015, but you could see he's not the same. In his first game back, he recorded 7 points and 4 assists, and in his very best game from that year, he had just 17 points, far away from his all-time best performances. And just by stats alone, he never averaged more than 8.1 points per game in a season after the injury. Quite a dropout from his previous low in a rookie year with 15.5. And then, as it is with many players who get injured and aren't the same, here comes the trade life. Jennings was traded to Orlando, where he played just 25 games, ending his contract. He averaged just 7 points per them. He signed with the Knicks, but didn't even play a full season with them, as he was waived after the trade deadline. In New York, Brandon Jennings averaged 8.6 points. He signed with the Wizards to play out the season in Washington, but he was pretty awful there, averaging just 3.5 points in 23 games on awful shooting splits, 27.4% from the field and 21.2% from three. At just 28 years old, he was pretty much out of the league. Nobody wanted him that much, so he went to China, where he played just 13 games before being released. He averaged 27.8 points there, but that's China. In the latter stages of the 2018 NBA season, he returned to Milwaukee Bucks organization, first to its G League affiliate, and then he signed a 10-day contract with the Bucks. Then he signed another 10-day, before signing a multi-year contract with them. But in the offseason, he was waived by the Bucks. It ended up being his last stop in the NBA. It ended just in the place where it all started, in Milwaukee. Jennings tried to revive his basketball career and went overseas to play in Russia, but played just 10 games with Zenit St. Petersburg before his contract got terminated after an Instagram post where he said, "Lesson in life, I will never play for a team and the dad is coaching his son. Never again." And that was it as far as his basketball career goes. In total, he played 555 NBA games, averaged 14.1 points and 5.7 assists, and shot 34.5% from the three. Some say he wasn't as good as he thought he was. He wanted more money than he deserved, and that was his downfall in Milwaukee the first time. His career started good, but he never really improved on any aspects of his game. And obviously, the big one, the Achilles injury. It obviously derailed his basketball career. I don't think he would have been a superstar, maybe all-star level player, but barely. Either way, without the injury, I think he would have still been playing in the NBA. Maybe be a sixth man or at worst a rotation player. Your 15 to 20 minute per game type of guy who could provide an offensive punch for a potential playoff team. This is and will remain one of those tales of unfilled potential that didn't finish the right way because of an injury, in my opinion. But what do you think, guys? Could Brandon Jennings have been an all-star? Would he still be playing if not for the injury? What do you think of his career? Please leave a comment down below. Don't forget to leave a like for the video, subscribe to the channel, and thanks for watching. This is Purple Prince, and I'm out.